From the News Channel 5 Network and the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development, this is State of the Workforce.
Hi everyone, and welcome to State of the Workforce. I'm Chris Cannon. Hospitality in Tennessee is big business, generating more than $30 billion a year in revenue. It's a driving force in our economy, and it's a big part of the state's workforce. Growing that sector is one of the goals of the Tennessee Hospitality and Tourism Association. Brittany Barragan is the Director of Education and Events for THTA, and she's here with the chef from Nolensville High School, Lyndsey Weatherford. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us today. And we'll start with you, Brittany,
Sure.
and tell us about the Hospitality Association and the goals there.
Absolutely. Tennessee Hospitality and Tourism's mission is to educate, advocate, and connect the hospitality and tourism industry. Our goal is simply to be a support and a resource to all sectors of the industry across the state.
And ProStart is a cooking competition that is across the state, and
Yes.
it's a really interesting program. And Chef Weatherford, tell me about ProStart and what that means in Nolensville High School.
Okay, sure. So ProStart is really the curriculum that we use. It was developed by the National Restaurant Association Educational Foundation. And so everything that we do in the classroom is directly related to the industry. So what they're learning in the classroom prepares them directly to go and work in any restaurant.
And how important is that for the goal and the mission of the association to have that curriculum in high schools across Tennessee?
Well, we feel that Tennessee ProStart is directly supported through our nonprofit arm of the association, which is our Tennessee Hospitality and Tourism Education Foundation. So the program is managed through the foundation, and it allows us the opportunity to provide grants, scholarships, field trip opportunities, professional development for teachers, and so much more statewide.
So ProStart it's a curriculum, but it's
Right.
also an invitational. It's a big competition that is held across the state every year. It's a pretty intense competition. Tell me a
That's
little
right.
bit about the competition and the two sides of it and everything that someone who doesn't know about the ProStart
Okay.
Invitational needs to know.
Sure. So yes, ProStart is the curriculum, but then students can choose to compete, and they can compete in hospitality management or the culinary side. And so this year I had students competing in hospitality management, and they were able to go to Knoxville and compete with Brittany spearheading the program, and they won at the state level.
And tell me about the competition for the management side. What exactly does that entail?
Sure. So they are to create a business plan for a restaurant, and within that they come up with the floor plan, they come up with the organizational chart, they come up with their concept, they come up with how do they market their restaurant, and then they present that to a panel of judges.
Now, Brittany, I'm not going to date myself here, but we didn't have programs like this when I was in high school.
Correct.
How many schools across Tennessee are using this ProStart curriculum and really teaching and showing the path towards a hospitality career?
We currently have 38 programs across the entire state of Tennessee. 20 of those programs are located in Middle Tennessee. We have 11 other programs in East Tennessee, and then we have 7 programs remaining in West Tennessee. And we are projected to be at approximately 45 programs in the fall.
That's amazing. So really it is spreading statewide and giving that culinary experience and that taste of the hospitality industry to students to get that first career exploration part of the things that they need to know when they're in high school so they can figure out what they're going to follow later in life.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that we want to do through the association and through the programs is make sure that we are giving students as much exposure as possible to different career pathways across the state.
And Chef, how does ProStart and the invitational and the competition angle of all that, how does that enhance the culinary programs at Nolensville High School? Does it make it kind of a, almost a team sport?
For sure. Yeah, I had several teams that competed this year. It becomes their thing. They come to class, they learn about these opportunities, and they say, okay, let's form a team and let's go compete. And so that's what they do.
And Brittany, this is one of your biggest projects of the year. Kind of tell me what it's like to go through this, because you're meeting the kids, you're meeting the teachers and the instructors and the chefs, and you're traveling with them.
Yes.
You really take it on.
Absolutely. I think one of the most rewarding things is getting to work hand in hand with the teachers and the students after the competition. We go into the classroom, we provide them industry mentorships, and then we get to spend a week together in Baltimore. So this year, we were able to tour the White House. We were able to really just get everything that Charlie Farm City has to offer. And it's really impressive to just see the students, their confidence grow from just February to May, which is just a few months.
Because they're coming into the Tennessee Invitational, they're winning there. So that's got to be a big boost, but then you're taking them to the Nationals.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm always just impressed at watching the teams and how well they represent the state of Tennessee on the national stage.
And for the cooking side, tell folks what that's like. I mean, it's kind of like if you're watching, your favorite cooking show that's timed. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty intense.
It's very intense. They have lots of judges that walk around them. They have 60 minutes to come up with a 3-course fine dining meal for 2 portions. And like I said, the judges walk around them and they look at their knife skills and they look at their sanitation skills, and then they taste their meals. So it's high pressure, but the kids love it.
What's it teaching them beyond the culinary skills?
That's a great question. Whether these kids go into the industry or not, they're learning how to work well with others. They're learning how to think on the spot, on the fly. Something didn't happen the way they wanted it to, so what can we do? They're learning industry-based skills. And then on top of that, they're learning life skills. Everybody needs to know how to cook because everybody eats.
And at the end of the day, they're gaining hands-on, real-world experiences that are making these students ready to directly enter the workforce, and that's important.
Yep.
And is it just open to certain grade levels, or can a child rise up through?
They can start out freshman year, and they can take it all 4 years.
Tell me a little bit about the funding for it all. Does that come from the association and just donations from the foundation and things like that?
Absolutely. So we have a variety of sponsors that we work with to make sure that we are able to provide a free competition to our students. So this year, the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development actually took title sponsorship of our event. And we had partners in education, such as the UT Conference Center, NOC College of Art and Design. And we had additional sponsorships from all sectors of the industry. So everything from Opryland to A. Marshall Hospitality to Sir Speedy Music City, which allows us to not only be able to provide this opportunity at competition, but it also allows the teams to travel to nationals and provide support there as well.
And is it always the Invitational held in Knoxville, or does it travel across the state?
Actually, we have been at the UT Conference Center the past few years.
Such a great center.
It is a great center. We have a lot of support, but we have the hopes of bringing the competition back to Middle Tennessee this year.
Oh, that's great. And when you think about this, do you have to sell this to students, or is it something that word spreads around school and this is something that they want to take part in and get that feel for this industry?
That's a good question too. But we're talking about food. I don't have to sell it. Everybody wants to eat. They find out they get to eat cookies in class and they're sold.
So it's kind of, again, dating myself, home ec of the olden days, elevated to a whole new level.
Yeah, they have a commercial kitchen that they get to work in, and all of the equipment is commercial grade. And so when they come to class, they are taught how to use all of that equipment. And then whenever they want to start working, Nolensville is a great community, and they reach out. A lot of times the restaurants will reach out to me and say, hey, who do you got? Bring them on over. And so I have a lot of students who work in a lot of restaurants in the area.
That's great. Well, this is just the start of our ProStart conversation. We'll talk to some of your students a little later in the show. But first, cooking is the cornerstone of ProStart, so we are going to get cooking. Next on State of the Workforce, we are heading into the kitchen to see the dishes the state champs made from Blackman High School in Rutherford County. Stay with us. We'll be right back. And we're back in the kitchen at the NOC School of Art and Design in Nashville, and we're here with the Blackman High School culinary team, the champions from that school. They won the Tennessee Invitational ProStart back in February in Knoxville and just got back in May from the Nationals in Baltimore. And we're going to take a look at what they're making today. They're making a starter, they're making an entree, and a dessert. So we'll take a look at the menu, and then we'll talk to their instructor about why this program is so important. So what are you doing here right now?
I'm putting the batter in the twill molds. These are for our appetizer to make just the fish bone twill. I'm using the oven because twill is best made just in the oven for an even cook.
So tell us what you're making.
I'm making a lamb spanakopita, which is lamb wrapped in layers of phyllo dough and spinach, feta cheese, and shallots.
And you prepare each of the ingredients that goes into this?
Yes, sir. So I sear off the lamb, then I cover it in Dijon mustard and pistachio flour, and then wrapped around it is the spinach, feta, and shallots, and then wrapped around all of it is the 4 layers of phyllo dough. I put down 2 layers of phyllo dough, then I brush it with butter, then 2 more layers, brush that with butter, and then after I wrap everything up, final brush of butter before going into the oven.
What are you making here?
Vanilla cream cheese.
Okay. Why are you doing it by hand? Obviously, there's mixers and things out there you could use.
Like essentially, we learned to do this without the help of modern mechanisms.
Chef Frank Pinnix is the instructor for this program, and he's going to tell us a little bit about the workforce angle that we have with this, and how exactly does this prepare them to go to work immediately when they're completed this course?
So while in our course, it's a 4-year course, they only need 3 credits, so that way their first year we teach them the safety and sanitation part. Our food industry part is more of serve safe. It's industry credit. We look for food handler and manager. On the manager side, it takes a lot of strength to actually know the information. And in that information, most managers are the ones at restaurants that have these certifications. For them to have that when they're leaving high school is already giving them a leg up in the workforce. While in school we do competitions, that does help for scholarships for them to be able to go to college, but also gets them ready for the industry. We do a lot of catering events. I know last year alone we did over 150 catering events, and these are individual catering events. Could range from 20 people all the way up to 500.
Wow.
And during those events, they work with other chefs in the community, as well as other teachers and instructors that are teaching this.
So this really does prepare them not only to go to school, but if they wanted just to go into the workforce, they could do that as well.
Yes, we want them to be able to choose that option. If they don't have the funds or maybe not the necessity to go into a college, then we're going to gear them to a restaurant or gear them for workforce development. And in that case, we've had several, literally as seniors, they're having jobs, and I know some of mine right now that have jobs that are making $19 an hour.
Wow.
Some of them are actually making more than their parents per hour. So it's an improvement of what we're doing as a Tennessee whole, teaching our students hands-on skills that they need when they leave here.
And how important is that for Tennessee in particular, where the hospitality industry is such a big part of the economy here, to make sure that we're churning out these new students who love doing this and want to do it?
So we're constantly opening new restaurants. We're developing new hotels from Knoxville, Nashville, all the way to Memphis. And we're talking about, it's not just the hospitality industry, it's the industry that we're giving. We take care of anything and everything. This includes shopping, or let's say you go to Kroger and you're getting groceries, you're asking the person behind there, the baker, this could be one of the bakers here soon. And I think this is helping us develop our students to take the next step and help improve Tennessee as a whole as a hospitality industry.
Rutherford County has an excellent program, and let's take a look now at the dishes they're preparing and see how good they did today.
Yes, sir.
This is the finished spanakopita lamb. It's cooked to medium rare. I put paper towels here because I have to let it rest for a certain amount of time. And then when I cut it, I put paper towels here so it doesn't start bleeding on the plate. And when it starts bleeding on the plate, it gets into sauce, it gets into sweet potato puree and just ruins the plate. So we try to get as much juice out as possible so it doesn't do that.
And here are the award-winning dishes from the team at Blackman High School, the culinary side of things for ProStart, but there's also a management side. When we come back on State of the Workforce, we'll talk to 2 seniors who competed in Baltimore as well and hear how that can help their careers when they get out of high school. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Creating amazing dishes in the kitchen is just one part of the restaurant business. Overseeing the restaurant's operation is just as important, and it's also part of the ProStart competition. Audrey, Mangrum, and Tracey from Nolensville High School in Williamson County are here, and they are the state champs on the management side of ProStart. Congratulations to both of you and your team.
Thank you.
So tell me about this. You competed in the management side of the competition. How does that differ from the cooking competition?
Right, so the management competition is so much different than the culinary. I've had the ability to work with an amazing set of boys, and we have built our restaurant from the bottom. And it's a truly
Just crazy. Tell me about the
It's a
restaurant.
crazy
What did you come up
experience.
with, and what was the restaurant's, what was anything about that?
Right, so our restaurant was called Nightshade, and it is a 1920s themed Italian restaurant.
Okay.
And we have built it from the bottom up, like I said. It is truly, it's a great experience to learn how to build a restaurant, and it is so different from the culinary side because we're able to create this our own place, and we're able to put so much love into it and really make it our own place. And it has been so much fun doing that. And I think Evan can tell you a little more about how we got to call it Nightshade.
Yeah, tell us about that. And you won. You were the state champs.
Right.
What made your concept stand out among all those others that were there?
So first of all, we had to completely write out our pitch and write out our concept on paper, and then those are given to the judges so they each get a set, and then we orally speak about that. And so we talk about our marketing tactics, our floor plan, our organizational chart, all the things that really go into a kitchen. And what stood out about our restaurant is a lot of our analysis that we made was it all complemented each other so well, and a lot of the judges were very impressed about that.
So why did you decide to take part in these culinary courses at Nolensville High School? What made you think about it? What made you go for it?
Right, since I was little, I have loved to bake, and I can remember when I was little, sitting on a step stool and trying to make blueberry muffins. So it's been a part of my life since I can remember, and it is so special to me to have been a part of the culinary competition teams and culinary in general at Nolensville High School. I found my family here, and it is so important to me that other people can experience the joy that cooking can bring to someone's life, because being able to bake for my family and learning more about how cooking is so inspirational is so important to me.
How many years did you take part in the program?
I've been a part of the program for 4 years now.
Okay.
So this is my last year, but it surely will not be my last year cooking and baking and using the skills I've learned.
And tell me how this has impacted your perception of the hospitality industry and working in this type of business.
So for me, it's really just shown just how much really goes into a kitchen, because a lot of people, you walk into a kitchen, you don't really know what's actually going on. But for me, I'm able to walk into a kitchen and know that in the back, people are scrambling to get dishes together, but it all flows just so smoothly. And it's amazing to see in person, because it's really out of this world if you've never seen it before yourself.
It's kind of like an orchestra. Everybody has
Completely.
their part and they have to play together to make it work.
I usually call it a dance myself.
Yeah, okay. So tell me about, now that you've gone through this, you're a senior, you're graduating, what's next? Has this influenced your decisions for the future at all?
It definitely has. I've known that I wanted to do something with culinary my whole life. It's just kind of who I've grown to be. And so I plan to go to MTSU this fall and study CTE education, just like Chef Weatherford has. And I want to make sure that I can make a difference in this world too. And so by sharing my passions for culinary and baking and management, I think I can make a difference. And I want the new generations to know just how special it was to me and how special it can be to them.
And don't you think that's an important part of this whole concept in hospitality industry? So you can train to do something, but it's not as if you're going to be in the kitchen. You can go to school and learn how to teach culinary. And is that something that you found interesting?
I did. Being in the culinary classes and seeing just how Chef Weatherford found so much comfort in being able to share her knowledge and perception of life with her culinary students is just so inspirational to me. And I want to make sure that I can pass that on to someone, because it has really changed my life, and being in this program is something I want everyone to experience, or maybe just get a taste of. Even if you don't pursue culinary or hospitality, this is a great opportunity to make some friends, to learn more about your interests, and it's such a great opportunity that it's so hard to explain because it's so surreal.
And tell me a little bit about your perception of the industry, how that's changed, and is this something you see in your future, or is this something you're doing in high school to learn a little something and just try to find your way?
So for me, my main goal in life, I want to go into nursing, but this course has really definitely helped me learn about teamwork. That's a very important skill to learn just for anybody, really, because teamwork is something that you're always going to need. And this class is definitely going to help me in the future, just being able to know how to cook for myself, and because everybody has got to eat. And so it's just it's been very insightful to me.
That's a great point. You learn how to cook when you leave, at least, so you can fend for yourself. Competition-wise, you won the state champs in Knoxville, you went to Baltimore. What was that competition like, the pressure and just going and taking part in all that?
It was intense. It is so surreal being in there with a ton of other groups who are just as amazing as you are. We've all gotten into this moment ourselves. We've worked for months on end to prepare ourselves, to give these speeches, to prepare, and to share what we have done with the world. And it was a beautiful experience. And I've worked with these boys for almost a full year now. We started in July with our concept. And now that it's the end, it truly doesn't feel like it, because it is something that'll stick with me the rest of my life. And the things that I've learned from these boys and my mentors and my teachers are things that I can just bring into the real world as well. Something I say all the time is communication is key. And if I walk out of here learning anything, it's that you know how to talk to someone, you know how to present yourself with, with passion and excitement, and that's something I want to make sure that everyone can do.
Because you're under a lot of pressure. Yeah.
Yes. It's a lot of pressure, and you get nervous. I was nervous the night before. I was stumbling over my words, but I got out there and I knew exactly what to say. I threw my speech out there, and we did amazing. I'm so proud of us, because it's tough going out there and speaking to a panel of judges asking you questions.
Sure.
It's like Shark Tank. People on Shark Tank, they seem so nervous, and I was nervous too when I first did this my sophomore year. I was a mess, but you know what? Over time, you learn just to grow.
Exactly. And you're a junior. Do you think you'll do this again next year?
I do want to. I want to do the management side for sure. I've already got ideas. I've already trying to formulate a team for it, so I'm definitely getting ready for that.
All right, well, congratulations on winning the states. That's a great accomplishment, and good luck in MTSU and good luck in your senior year.
Thank you very much.
And that is the State of Tennessee's Workforce. Thanks for spending some time with us today. You can learn more about the different programs the department offers to Tennesseans at tnworkready.com. And of course, you can find us on all the social media platforms. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time on State of the Workforce.